Hey guys, this is Nanavati talking to you about the best units from Warhammer 40,000 for Necrons. Necrons are a really interesting and powerful army in Warhammer 40k because they have really durable units. They have a special rule called reanimation protocols, which lets units come back to life, and they have a lot of high volume, high quality firepower on just generally toughness 5, good armor save units that can heal themselves as well. So some of the best units for them are, you're going to want to take a standard Scythe battalion in pretty much every Necron list you make. That's probably going to be something like an Overlord with whatever weapon of your choice, a Cryptek with a Canoptic Cloak probably, and 3 units of 5 Immortals. This battalion unlocks so much for you because since they're Scythe, they can unlock the Scythe strat to give you +1 to hit. Additionally, with your My Will Be Done, you can combo this out to get +2 to hit. Necrons, all these Tesla Immortals, have a special rule where on a 6 to hit, it triggers 2 additional hits. You can obviously see how combined with My Will Be Done for +1 to hit and the stratagem for Scythe for +2 to hit, you are now triggering an extra 2 additional hits for every 4+ to hit you roll. And with your normal ballistic scale of 3, you're going to be hitting even things with negative modifiers still most likely on 2s. This makes Necrons an incredibly good shooting force. From here, you can increase the squads of your Immortals if you want to get more volume of fire that way. That's totally fine, but you're also going to want to take some other units to accompany them as well. Another great example would be Tomb Blades. Tomb Blades are an awesome fast attack choice for Necrons because they are like a Tesla Immortal. They can take 2 Tesla weapons that each shoot a total of 2 shots for a total of 4 shots per model. With Tesla and Scythe, you can now trigger this on 5s. Not 4s because they're not infantry, so they cannot be affected by My Will Be Done. But if you take a full unit of 9, shooting 4 shots each, it's going to be 36 shots, triggering extra attacks, extra 2 additional hits for every 5+ to hit you make. This unit also moves 14 inches, has fly. You can make them -1 to hit, 3 up armor, 5 up invul if you want to buy them the upgrades, and have them ignore as cover. They get a little pricey if you do that, so I don't recommend doing that for all of them, but you can mix and match which models take which upgrades and make a really effective unit for in the neighborhood of 200 to 250 points. That's a really good thing. Additionally, with fly, unlike Tomb Blades, unlike Immortals that don't have fly, Tomb Blades can't be locked in close combat. They will literally always keep shooting. And of course, when you combine this with Resurrection Orbs and Reanimation Protocols, this unit can be a total menace for your opponent. On the other side of shooting weapons, we have Destroyers. Destroyers probably want to be Nephric, so you want to make another battalion or an Outrider or some other sort of detachment which has Nephric stuff in it. And the reason they want to be Nephric is because you want to be able to deep strike this unit. That's incredibly powerful for a unit that has relatively short range, only 24 inches on a gun platform. They're tough also, just like Tomb Blades. They're toughness 5, 3 up armor, but they have 3 wounds each. Another amazing rule that these guys have is that they're infantry. Now, infantry is just a fantastic rule in general because it lets you walk through walls, get cover more easily, but it also lets you be affected by My Will Be Done, which is an amazing rule for Necron Overlords. So what this unit does, it has 3 shots each, strength 6, -3, and D3 damage. That's already a very powerful profile, but what makes them over the top amazing is that they have a 1 command point stratagem called Destroyer Protocols, which lets the whole unit reroll all hits and all wounds. This unit, full 6-man, will pump out 18 shots, on average produce 16 hits before My Will Be Done. If you use My Will Be Done, it will do 18. And wounding on strength 6, rerolls to wound, will even wound tanks 55% of the time. Or anything below that toughness 7 threshold, it will wound them like upwards of 70 to 90%. So with -3 AP and D3 damage, this unit will just pick up your opponent's units while being incredibly tough to kill and having access to, again, reanimation protocols and resurrection orbs. Then we have units like the Doomsday Ark, which will provide you your long-range anti-tank and a huge model with fly. So what this does is you part these guys, again with Scythe, so they can remove the penalty for moving and shooting. Ideally, they never have to move because they do get substantially worse if they do based on the profile of the gun, but at least this way it'll keep them from being a ton worse. Also, in 40k, it's just unrealistic to never have to move. This shoots a weapon at full profile of 1,000,000 inches, D6 shots, strength 10, -4 AP, and D6 damage per. So if you roll a high number of shots, like let's say 4 or 5, and if you take 2 or 3 of these, getting that at least 1 or 2 times is not going to be difficult. Hitting on 3s with Scythe strat will again boost this to 2s, and then wounding even Imperial Knights and Shadow Swords on 3s AP -4 is going to go right through their armor saves, and then D6 damage per hit. These will obliterate tanks. Additionally, they have solid anti-infantry capabilities. They can rapid fire at 12 inches with 20 shots per vehicle. So this unit can also double function as a solid anti-infantry platform. It's also an enormous model with the fly keyword. So the fly keyword will allow it to fall back from combat and keep shooting, and being an enormous size, it makes it an amazing screen for your opponent because it's not really easy to kill or worthwhile for him to kill without dedicating good resources to it. Fantastic unit right there. Also, another awesome unit that Necrons want to make use of are 3 Doom Sights. You want to make sure you run 3 of these things because they have an amazing strat that you unlock when you take 3. They have an amazing gun with a lot of Tesla shots and a Doomsday cannon, which is a 24-inch gun, D3 shots, strength 10, -4, and D6 damage. Just, again, adding on even more to the anti-tank. But what makes these things so amazing is, again, the fact that they're large models with fly. So, again, amazing screens for Necrons. They can move at minimum 20 inches up to like 60 inches because they are flyers, and they have a stratagem. Their stratagem lets you pick a point within 12 inches of all 3 Doom Sights, so long as you don't shoot their Doomsday cannons, which is all right because you still get your Tesla shots, and the strat is so good it's worth it. For 1 command point, you pick a point within 12 inches of them. All enemy units within 3 inches of that point, you roll a 4 up 4, a 5 up if it has the character keyword, and that unit, if you successfully make that roll, suffers 3d3 mortal wounds. That's an average of 6 mortal wounds. If you can get a nice clump of enemy units, like 3 or 4 enemy units, or like 2 or 3 and a couple characters, you can do 6 mortal wounds to that squad, 6 mortal wounds to this squad, and if you roll 5 up against a key character, that'll be just pick up that character right there. So all in all, Necrons want to be a very mobile, shooty force using teleportation tricks like Veil of Darkness to get yourself out of close combat with even your basic infantry like Immortals. If you do that correctly, you're going to basically never be able to be trapped in assault. And that's how most close combat armies win their games against shooty ones. They trap you up in close combat and prevent you from falling back to make it so you can't shoot that unit in the following turn. Necrons being an army of almost 100% fly minus their troop choices, and then they have the ability to teleport out of close combat with their troop choices, make this nearly impossible. Another good thing about Doomsday Arks is that they have the quantum shielding capability, which lets them which lets them mitigate damage from higher damage profiles. If something hits them like a las cannon rolls 5 damage, you can then roll equal to or under a 5, so 1 through 4, and just mitigate that entire hit. Now this does make them more vulnerable because it's less useful against like lower damage weapons like your standard weapons in 40k, the bolters, the pulse rifles, or even damage 2 weapons like Ludas. But those are the weapons against a 14 wound vehicle that are going to take you a long time to chip it away, whereas it'll make you mostly 100% immune to powerful weapons in the game like a volcano lance from a Castellan. So all in all, Necrons are an incredibly durable, highly mobile force, impossible to paint in close combat, and then put out amazing firepower. Thanks for watching, guys. These are the best units in Warhammer 40,000 for Necrons.